Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Music Basics video. So today we're going to be talking about the musical alphabet, note names, and accidentals. Now at this point you might be thinking to yourself, well, how in the world do I add accidentals, aka the black keys on the piano? Now this is not super complicated, but it's important to note another big musical term, which is enharmonic. Enharmonic is the term that says when I have one pitch, aka one sound, that is labeled with two different names. Again, this is a difference between a pitch and a note name because note names are different. A C sharp and a D flat are different notes, but they happen to be enharmonic, aka they are the exact same pitch. So let's take a look at this. So here in my example, this is a B natural, and you can see that it is a white key. But if I was to lower that note by 1/2 step, aka I'm going to move one key to the left on the piano, you will see that it now has the dot on the black key on the piano, and you'll see that it added a flat to our musical notation. Now this symbol here is a flat, and it means we took whatever note it's next to and it lowered it by 1/2 step. Now it is important to note that flats always come before the note head in notation, but in English we say B flat, not flat B. So they're reverses of each other. Now this system is uniform. If I go up here to this D, you'll see there is the key on the keyboard, and if I move it down one key, aka to the left, it will now be a D flat or a C sharp. Look at that. So the computer actually notated this as the opposite, aka enharmonic note. Now you'll see if I highlight this note again, it's still that key, but watch this. I'm going to tell the computer to notate it the other way. And look, the key on the piano did not change, but the note changed on our notation because now it looks like a D flat. And this is what an enharmonic note is. An enharmonic note is, for the simplest terms, it's two different names for the same key on the piano. And this would apply equally to a guitar if you're a guitar player. So if I was to duplicate this musical example onto a guitar fretboard, you'll see that this B flat happens to be the 3rd fret on the G string. But if I was to raise it up by 1/2 step, it will go up 1 fret. And in this case, that's the open B string on the guitar. Also, if I was to go to this C natural, which is fret 1 on the guitar, if I go up 1/2 step, that means it's fret 2, and I go up another 1/2 step, it would be fret 3, which means each fret on the guitar represents 1/2 step in music, aka one key on the piano. So this D flat here happens to be fret 2, and if I move it up, now it's fret 3. This is why the strings on your guitar are labeled different names, because just like on a clef, the D string on your guitar happens to be this note right here, and you can see it highlights the open string there, and then the A string on your guitar happens to be this note. And so you can take any note like that on the guitar, and as you go up a fret, you're going up 1/2 step. So if I want to make that note into an A sharp or B flat, I would just go up 1 fret on the guitar, and you can see there it's spelled as a B flat, but I can convert it over to an A sharp, and you'll see the fret didn't change, but the note head did. Now going back to my piano keyboard, let's talk a little bit more about the accidentals. So if I was to respell this note as a C sharp, you'll see again, just like the flat, it comes before the note head, but in this case, it looks kind of like a hashtag. The most important thing to note, though, is unlike it being kind of a tic-tac-toe board, there are 2 vertical lines and then 2 lines that slant up to the right. Now, that's a real minor thing, but it is important to note that it has kind of its own little look to it, and the closer we can get to that, the better. The final accidental I want to talk about today is a natural. A natural, which is this symbol right here, cancels out either a flat or a sharp. So if you had a B flat and you turned it into a B natural, that means that you would be raising the note up to the regular B. If you had a C sharp and turned it into a C natural, you'd actually be lowering the note, because flats move a note to the left or lower one key on the piano or one half step, and then a sharp moves a note to the right on the keyboard or up a half step. Remember, on a guitar and on a piano, each key or each fret represents one half step, which is typically the smallest musical unit we can operate in. So thanks so much for watching this quick introduction into note names, the musical alphabet, and into the accidentals. We're going to be talking more about this and some of the musical conventions that go along with it, but I wanted to make sure we had covered these most basic things. In review, remember, a note head represents a specific note on the staff, and the pitch of that note is dictated by how high or how low it is on the staff. The lower it is on the staff, the lower it is on the piano, the lower the sound will be. We also have enharmonic notes, which is the same pitch with two different names, typically thought of as the key below, which would be like a B flat, and then the key above, aka an A sharp, but again, it's the same key on the piano, but we're approaching it from either side. Now remember the accidentals. We have the natural, which just cancels any accidentals, putting it back to the white keys on the piano. We have the flat, which lowers the note by a half step, which goes either to the left on the piano by one key, and do note that you can have two white keys next to each other. So when two white keys are next to each other with no black key in the middle, that means that they are a half step apart. And every time we go down or to the left on our guitar neck by one fret, that's also a half step. We also have the sharp, which is the opposite. We're going to go right on our piano keyboard by one key, or closer to us to the right on our fretboard by one half step. Again, that's the sharp. Flats lower, sharps go up, naturals cancel us it out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. If you're enjoying these series, please like and subscribe. It really helps out allowing more people to find these videos. And if you're interested in more information on music and music in general, you can visit my website at larsonjazz.com. Or if you're interested in studying music formally, you can visit me at Spokane Falls Community College. Thanks so much for watching.